Welcome to 101 East. I'm Steve Chow. Journalists are trained to gather information and report the news. But what happens when those skills are used to blackmail? Many rogue reporters in Cambodia unearth evidence of crime and demand bribes to cover up the story. Some are assaulted and even killed in retaliation. Chan Tao Cho enters the world of Cambodian news to investigate the murky paths some journalists are taking.
What makes the news in Cambodia? Or perhaps the question is, what doesn't make the news? Cambodia is one of the fastest growing economies in Southeast Asia. For journalists, land development projects and the logging industry provide a wealth of stories. And for the unscrupulous among them, extra cash. Many journalists are known to demand bribes in return for favorable coverage or simply to bury news of crime and corruption. It leaves Cambodians wondering how much they read is the truth.
I talked to one journalist who was arrested in prison. He worked as a journalist, but he's literature. He doesn't know any word. He doesn't know how to write. He said, no, I just phone call to my boss in Phnom Penh, and I just ask money from my source.
Mighty Tara, or Tara as he is known, is a journalist with the Phnom Penh Post and one of the newspaper's top investigative reporters. His company has a strict policy against taking bribes. It is among a handful of respected news outlets in Cambodia. Why are there so many journalists in Cambodia who take bribes to keep a story quiet?
Because in Cambodia, if they work for the local newspaper, because of their low salary, and then another journalist in the province, they don't have the salary at all. The reason why we are different because our organization is a big organization and we get good paid.
But Tara knows journalists in the provinces who take bribes and says their news gathering skills are formidable.
Yeah, they work in the province every day, so they know each other and they know the place very well, so they know how to get the information and who will they provide them some money. You know, even in Phnom Penh, I talked to the tycoon. He said, Tara, I'm so scared of journalists right now. I said, why? He said, because when I go out, like the journalists give me like a big paper and a lot of journalists' name, because like one journalist $10, so he said, I have no enough money to give for them.
Such journalists are not easy to track down. Only 20 out of some 400 registered newspapers in the country publish regularly, according to the Cambodia Institute for Media Studies. The rest have hundreds of staff in name only, operating in the provinces. Some also act as messengers and tip off anyone who pays. When they do file a report, there is no byline. To find them, I travel 5 hours out of the capital city of Phnom Penh to Krache province, where illegal logging is rampant.
My name is Chili Hang. I've been a journalist for 10 years. I'm 43 years old. To be honest, we're all the same in this country. But there are different ways of giving and receiving bribes. Sometimes, if they're discreet, they put the money in an envelope. Everyone benefits from illegal business.
Chia Li Hiang is a well-known journalist in this part of the country. He runs this Khmer language newspaper, a 4-page broadsheet. It rarely goes to print, the last time in January 2013. But Chia still makes at least $500 a month, 6 times the average person's income in rural Cambodia. The money comes from bribes, giving tip-offs, and occasionally filing reports for other papers. It's a risky venture. One journalist suspected of extortion was shot dead here last October while investigating a logging company. Chia knew the journalist, Tang Tri. He says they used to work closely.
Before what happened to Tang Tri, we had never lost anyone. We got beaten up and shot at, but Tang Tri finally lost his life. I carry a protective charm wherever I go. There is a lot of danger in my work, especially for stories related to the logging business. People have tried to kill me by ramming my car. I was shot at once.
Chia Li Hing works with a team of reporters. Today, some of them meet in this local coffee shop for an informal editorial meeting. They go through the day's stories and call up contacts to find leads for their next investigation. They don't consider it wrong to demand bribes from lawbreakers.
We don't bother people who are not involved in illegal business. It's simple. We only come in when people break the law.
Do you think there's anything wrong at all with the way you operate?
This is our way of getting information. There's no contract to say I can't report on a story, because I took their money. They pay us to buy time, so we don't call in the authorities immediately. They hope journalists don't file the story, but we never promise that. If you don't take any money, they may follow you around. And that makes it difficult for you to photograph or film discreetly. We have to build the evidence to protect ourselves. If they later sue us for extortion, we'll release it to prove they bribed us to hide their illegal logging.
Chia says they walk a fine line to survive this game of double dealing.
Some journalists get greedy, so when people can't afford to pay, they accuse the journalists of extorting and intimidating them. That's why some of us get arrested. Journalists must know how to negotiate nicely, even for small bribes of $5 or $10.
If after taking the money, the story still runs, wouldn't they think you betrayed them? Wouldn't that put you in danger?
It's impossible to cover up all the time. There are a lot of newspapers, TV stations, and journalists.
And that, he says, helps them stay anonymous when they tip off media outlets, even after taking a bribe. It's a risky game of wheeling and dealing that Chia seems to have no qualms about. Journalists like them usually work freelance, without a fixed salary.
Journalists for big-name newspapers and TV stations have a salary, but they can't cover all the districts in the country. It's a large area. They need to pay people like us to get the news from these areas.
Chia is constantly on the road, sometimes living out of his car and going home for only a couple of days every fortnight. All this to get to the bottom of a story.
You have to go on location to talk to people directly. If it involves land grabbing, we speak to the people, find out the number of families affected and how long they've lived there and how their rights were violated.
Despite having no formal training as a journalist, Chia seems to know the drill inside out. He says companies accused of land grab have to be given the right of reply.
After getting the information from the people, we contact the company involved to tell them of the complaint against them and give them a chance to respond to the accusations. We have to question both sides. We also try to get the authorities to explain why this is allowed to happen, but they rarely take our calls.
I follow Chia Li Hing on his next investigation. A truck which may be carrying illegal logs has been spotted. We are on our way to it.
A truck delivering timber has broken down. It's in a village called Swamal Kol. I've sent someone to check it out. We want to find out exactly what wood it's carrying.
So how did you find out about the information?
From the locals and other journalists. They called me.
We arrive as the sun is setting. Chia quickly takes a few shots. 2 men walk away upon seeing our cameras. Chia's contact shows us the back of the truck. He says the man in charge of it left the scene half an hour ago. Can you tell what type of logs they are just by looking at it here?
This is Chair Crom. It's a very high quality wood. The price is about $500 to $600 per cubic meter. That's the selling price in Vietnam.
Chia estimates the load is worth $250,000.
Its license allows it to transport 20 cubic meters of wood, but this truck is carrying about 50. So 20 to 30 cubic meters of it is illegal. And by exceeding the weight limit, it damages the roads. That flouts transportation laws.
So what happens after this? Do the authorities come and take care of this?
We don't know yet how the authorities will deal with this, but this truck is broken and can't go anywhere. Let's observe tomorrow to see how this develops.
The truck has a broken axle. With its heavy load of timber, it'll take hours to unload it and for repairs. It looks like it isn't going anywhere tonight. I return early the next day without Chia. If he's planning to get a bribe, he may not tell me everything or want me around. As it turns out, I'm already a few steps behind. This is the exact same spot we were at last night. 100 tons of logs and a broken down truck, gone overnight, in a matter of hours in fact. It would have taken many people, heavy machinery and powerful lights to perform this task so efficiently. I was not expecting this. Where did the wood go? And what do the journalists know about it? I find Chia Li Hing and his team back in town at a coffee shop where they gather daily. He has already drafted his report. As I suspected, much transpired after we parted ways the night before that he did not tell me about. Chia says he doesn't know how the truck disappeared. What he does know is that a man representing the logging company paid off more than 40 journalists to bury the story, some of them from his team. He claims he did not accept any money because he wants to file a report on his findings. He reads me a part of it.
The timber comes from the province of Stung Treng. The man in charge of transporting it says the trees belong to Mr. Kith Mang, a telecommunications tycoon. We don't have his number to get a comment from him, but illegal businessmen like to drop names of important people like Mr. Kith Mang to cover up what they do. A TV journalist representing the loggers distributed money to other journalists. Initially, he gave them $25 each, but the journalists demanded more, so he gave them another $12 each. The name of the TV journalist is Mr. Vibol. He's from station TV3.
Chia's report sheds little light on the illegal logger, focusing instead on the TV journalist who acted as the middleman. It turns the spotlight away from the logging crime. To send the story to a local paper, Chia goes to an internet shop next door. He doesn't know how to use a computer, so someone types it out for him. I track down the phone number of the TV journalist by the name of Vibol to find out more and call him with the help of a translator.
Hello?ជំរាបសួរលោកកុំវិបុលហ៎បាទលោកពីណានោះបាទពីណានោះបាទជំរាបសួរលោកខ្ញុំជាអ្នកបកប្រែឲ្យលោកចាំទូចៅដែលមកពីស្ថានីយទូរទស្សន៍ Jazeera បាទអត់មានអីបងសួរបងថាចេះពីយប់មិញហ្នឹងមានការប្រជុំគ្នាមួយនៅរេស្តូរ៉ង់គេហៅចំប៉ាពេជ្រនៅឯស្នួលនោះណាបាទហើយពាក់ព័ន្ធនឹងរឿងថាលោកជាអ្នកចែកលុយជូនអ្នកសារព័ត៌មានហ្នឹងអាហ្នឹងយើងចែកគេដើម្បីអីដើម្បីអ្វីទៅបាទអាចបញ្ជាក់បានទេបាទអញ្ចឹងមកណាបាទអូខេហើយបងជួយអានសម្លេងខ្ញុំទៅបងណាបាទបងអានសម្លេងខ្ញុំទៅហើយចាក់ផ្សាយនៅក្នុងទូអីបងទៅនៅក្នុងទូអីខ្ញុំនឹងគ្រាន់តែជាអ្នកបកប្រែឲ្យទូ Jazeera នៅស្រុកគេហ្នឹងបាទនៅអីបរទេសហ្នឹងបាទអញ្ចឹងបងជាតែសុំពេលបន្តិចណា
We call him a few more times, but he doesn't pick up the phone again. To find out what happened to the truckload of timber, I head to the nearest forestry department close to the Vietnamese border. There are piles of confiscated logs and vehicles used to transport them, but nothing resembles what I saw the night before, and none of the officers will talk to me. 2 days later, Chia Li Heng's story appears in a local paper. I follow up on it with a visit to the TV station Vibol works for to see the head of operations, Lino. He doesn't want to be interviewed, but says no action will be taken against Vibol. He says, "This is common. You know how it works in Cambodia. Who doesn't take money?" It's not just big companies that are involved in illegal logging. Across the provinces, many villagers sell cheap wood illegally to supplement their income. Today, Chia is interviewing some of them. They want him to expose corrupt officers from the police force and the forestry department who demand bribes from them.
We can't make any profit because they want too much money. Sometimes, if we don't pay them, they follow us and threaten to take our vehicle.
I'm here to help them. It's up to them how much they want to pay me. They collect the money amongst themselves. I don't ask for anything.
It's common for such traders to have a murky relationship with journalists like Chia. They consider him the lesser of two evils because the corrupt officers want far more money to turn a blind eye to the wood they transport. This provision shop sells the illegal wood openly by the roadside. It is used for building homes and fences. By law, no one is allowed to chop down trees and sell timber without a permit. But small-time illegal loggers feel the authorities unfairly target them.
They should be closing down the big businesses that transport luxury wood. But they arrest those of us trading cheap leftover wood. And they seize wood from people like us who can't speak up against them.
Unlike the other traders who spoke to Chia Li Heng, Un Pierit doesn't like journalists.
There are so many of them. Some don't even belong to any publication. I've met journalists in Snool Kratchi province. If one car stops me, I can pay. But sometimes they come in 3 or 4 cars. If I pay $1 for each journalist, how much do I have to pay for 20? I wouldn't stop for them. That's why they get angry and chase my van.
$20 wipes out his earnings for the day. Un's family depends on it. They're in debt after their crops failed and he took a loan to buy 2 vans for his illegal logging business, one of which has been seized by the forestry department. Un sees corrupt journalists and officials as nothing more than thieving gangsters.
I work very hard to earn any amount of money, even a few dollars. I put in effort in this job. It's better than robbery. We face a lot of danger in this trade. Our lives depend on our vehicles. When they're after us, it's like a car chase in a Hong Kong action movie. Sometimes journalists ask for a little money for food. I'll give them what I can. If they want more, I can't afford it. I can only fight them.
Confrontations between journalists and loggers are getting more violent. One of Chia Li Heng's reporters has just survived an attack.
They rammed their van into my car. Then they brought out petrol and wanted to set it on fire. I was standing nearby. They came at me with machetes. One of them reversed the van and tried to run me down as well. It was brutal.
Van Bo Pa was with 4 other journalists when he was attacked. They fled on their motorbikes. He only had enough time to film a few seconds of footage.
They got angry because I filmed them loading wood into the van. I caught them in the act.
Did they refuse to pay any money?
We didn't even talk about it. They just got angry and attacked.
For them to settle the issue, what would they need to pay?
They don't usually give us a lot. Just $2 or $5, that's all.
They're not happy that we always report on them and tip off other news agencies.
Van says he managed to talk his way out of trouble. Tonight, Chia is helping to tow his car to Phnom Penh for repairs. The long, slow journey through the night is a sobering reminder of the price they pay for how they operate. Cambodia ranks 139th out of 180 countries in the Press Freedom Index by Reporters Without Borders. For its low standing, it seems easy to obtain a press pass. In Phnom Penh, I'm on my way to the Ministry of Information to meet the officer in charge of approving press accreditations. I ask what is the criteria.
We wanted to insist that journalists be trained. They should have at least 12 years of education and be above the age of 25. But many NGOs pressured us against that. They said it restricts individual rights, and anyone above 18 should be allowed to be a journalist if that's their ambition.
Why is it so easy to apply for press passes and publication permits?
Our ministry used to only issue press passes to staff in big news organizations. But they said it's not enough because they have more journalists in every province. So we just give it to all of them. Journalism has become a business. Our laws don't restrict media freedom. Anyone can be a journalist. If you want qualified journalists, they'll need training courses. If you apply that condition, there'll be very few of them left.
But journalists need more than qualifications. Maiti Tara, the reporter with the Phnom Penh Post, says integrity must come first.
You have to take a look on the journalists who are the good and why they become a good journalist. You see that guy to take the money from the source, so you have to go away from that. You have to correct yourself first, and then you have to respect a code of ethics.
Traveling with a photographer, Tara is on his way to his next assignment. He is familiar with temptations from people in power who have come to assume journalists in Cambodia can be bought.
I did one story, and that company, they're so angry with me. When they see me at their office, "Hey Tara, how much money you want?" I said, "No, I don't need the money. What kind of car you like?" They know I don't like a car. I got my motor, I have my little bit salary, it's enough for me. I did a story about the logging. One call said, "Tara, I will transfer you the money to your bank account. My director want to pay you $3,000 per month." I said, "Thank you so much. It's a lot of amount of money, but I cannot get it." They tried again, "Tara, so how about 5,000 per month?" I said, "No, thank you so much."
And is there any danger if you refuse money?
I think a little bit danger, like investigate story in Cambodia. The journalist doesn't like to do much because it's very risky and very dangerous.
Back in Krache province, Chia Ly Heng's appetite for risk and danger hasn't diminished, despite the latest attack on his colleague. I wonder what he thinks of the journalists who refuse bribes. Do you consider yourself a better journalist and a better investigator?
I work harder for what I think is a good job. It's up to others to judge my value.
And you take pride in what you do?
I get encouragement from myself and from others who are not involved in illegal business. Only those involved are afraid of us. We're like a shadow that doesn't go away.
Chia and Tara may share a common tenacity, but that's where the similarities end. Ethics are paramount for Tara, but for Chia, money talks. And in the murky world of Cambodian news, he easily crosses the line between journalism and blackmail.